2024 was an amazing year for the North American railroad industry, with interesting developments from beginning to end, and more positive news than negative news for the most part. Today we'll be taking a look back on the year and counting down the top 10 biggest stories of 2024. You're watching This Year on the Railroad. Before we begin, I want to talk about my new and improved channel membership program. For just $1 a month, you can get early access to all my videos, in addition to exclusive railfanning videos and more. If this sounds at all appealing to you, consider joining. Also, one last thing. I'm trying to reach 25,000 subscribers by New Year's, which is just 1 week away. So if you want to be one of the 350 subscribers that allow me to reach that milestone, you know what to do. Okay, enough begging for subscribers, let's get into the list. Number 10. Charlotte, North Carolina prepares to build a commuter rail line. In September, the city of Charlotte, North Carolina purchased 22 miles of track from Norfolk Southern's O Line to be used on the new Red Line commuter rail project. Originally proposed in 2006, this new commuter rail would connect uptown Charlotte to its suburbs as far north as Davidson. After years of planning and setbacks, such as a bus rapid transit line that many thought would kill the project, it seems that the Red Line is still prepared to move forward with construction. Service is expected to begin in 2029, so definitely expect to hear more Red Line news in the coming year. Number 9. Montana Rail Link taken over by BNSF. On the first day of 2024, BNSF absorbed Montana Rail Link, a Class II freight railroad operating in Montana, Idaho, and Washington state. In 1987, Montana Rail Link acquired 900 miles of track on a 60-year lease from Burlington Northern, expected to end in 2047. In 2022, however, BNSF Railway, Burlington Northern's successor, decided to terminate the lease early, paying Montana Rail Link $2 billion in order to do so. On January 1st, 2024, BNSF took over Montana Rail Link, with existing MRL personnel now being employed under BNSF. Over the course of the year, many Montana Rail Link locomotives could be seen across BNSF's network, but more importantly, MRL became another fallen flag railroad of the 2020s. Number 8. CPKC Golden Spike Tour. Following the 2023 merger of Canadian Pacific and Kansas City Southern into Canadian Pacific Kansas City, the new railroad celebrated its historic merger with a steam excursion across North America. Starting in April in Calgary, Alberta, Canadian Pacific 2816 pulled the CPKC passenger train all the way to Mexico City, making for the first time a steam locomotive has traveled to all three countries. This excursion captivated not only rail fans, but even regular people across the continent, with whistle stops in 11 cities. Number 7. Dual-mode Siemens Charger locomotives. In November, Metro-North received its first dual-mode SC42DM locomotives built by Siemens Mobility. The SC42DM is the newest addition to the Siemens Charger locomotive family, and it's the first dual-mode model with diesel and third-rail electric capabilities. On its own, this is big news for Metro-North, but it's also big news for Amtrak passengers, as the SC42DM will debut dual-mode technology that will appear on ALC42E intercity locomotives in the next few years. Additionally, for Metro-North, these chargers will greatly decrease the railroad's carbon footprint on the Hudson Line, running in electric mode as far north as Croton-Harmon and being Tier 4 emissions compliant when running in diesel mode. Number 6. 2 new Amtrak routes. 2024 saw the debut of 2 new Amtrak routes. In May, the Borealis made its maiden voyage between Chicago, Illinois and St. Paul, Minnesota. Since then, 1 daily round trip in each direction has run along this route, in addition to the existing Empire Builder, which continues west of the Twin Cities to Seattle. Since its debut, the Borealis has exceeded ridership projections, and a second round trip is already being talked about. Later in the year, to much less fanfare, Amtrak revived the Floridian moniker with a new long-distance route between Chicago, Illinois and Miami, Florida. Technically, the Floridian isn't a new train, but it's just a temporary combination of the Capital Limited and Silver Star, which was done in order to free up superliner equipment for western long-distance routes, which have been facing equipment shortages for the last few years. Number 5. The Federal Railroad Administration mandates 2-person crews. In April, the FRA mandated 2-person crews on trains, with a few exceptions. This is a big deal for both railroad labor and safety, as it prevents railroads from cutting jobs, and more importantly keeps railroads much safer. This ruling allows for railroads to apply for FRA approval to run with one-man crews, and allows existing one-person operations to continue, but it formalizes this previously less regulated issue. This story probably would have been higher on the list, but given Trump's recent decision for the former president of Pan Am Railways to become the new FRA administrator, I unfortunately wouldn't be surprised to see this overturned in the near future. Number 4. 2 major steam restorations. In addition to CPKC's Golden Spike Tour and Union Pacific's Big Boy excursions, 2024 saw the announcement of 2 major mainline steam locomotive restorations. In October, the Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society announced it had purchased New York Central 482 Mohawk No. 3001 and will be restoring it to operating condition. Just 1 month later, RJD America, a New Jersey-based rail preservation group, announced that it had acquired Chesapeake & Ohio 484 Greenbrier No. 614. Next year, both of these locomotives will begin to be restored, with the 3001 being restored in New Haven, Indiana, and the 614 being restored in Strasburg, PA. Number 3. Hudson Tunnel Project ready to build. The Gateway Tunnel Project is a long talked about plan to replace and rehabilitate the tunnels that connect New York Penn Station to New Jersey and points south on the Northeast Corridor, in other words, the busiest section of passenger rail in the country. In July, the project was fully funded by the federal government, and new tunnels are expected to be completed by 2035. Following the completion of these new tunnels, the existing 100-plus-year-old tunnels will be repaired, allowing for the Northeast Corridor's capacity to be doubled into Penn Station by 2038. Number 2. Caltrain electrification. In September, Caltrain, the commuter rail between San Francisco and San Jose, California, became a fully electrified commuter rail, replacing 40-year-old diesel push-pull trains with modern European electric multiple units. In addition to cleaner, modern trains, Caltrain took this opportunity to increase its service to every 30 minutes or better in each direction, and to cut down travel time with enhanced acceleration and deceleration. Obviously, Caltrain's electrification is a huge deal for Bay Area commuters, but it's sure to have an impact on other commuter rails as well, serving as the benchmark for a modern American system. In its first month of all-electric operations, Caltrain posted ridership numbers more than 50% higher than the previous year, and those strong numbers prove that electrification does so much more than just decreasing a railroad's environmental impact. The effects of Caltrain's electrification will even be seen outside of the United States, as a few months later, the agency announced that it had sold its retired trains to the city of Lima, Peru, for use on its own commuter rail. Before we get to our number 1 story of 2024, I want to list off a few quick honorable mentions. First off, the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority announced its intentions to purchase battery electric multiple units for its Fairmount line. This project is in the earlier stages of development, but a switch to zero-emissions trains could have similar effects to Caltrain's electrification. Keep an eye out for a video on this one soon. Next up is SEPTA's canceled order for CRRC-built railcars. After ordering new bi-level cars for push-pull express train service in 2017, which were supposed to be delivered in 2020, the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority canceled its 45-car order with Chinese manufacturer CRRC, stating that the project was years behind schedule and the cars were not built to the quality or safety standards they were expecting. Equipment order cancellations are pretty uncommon nowadays, and this one was definitely big news when it broke. Finally, Mexico's Tren Maya intercity rail was completed in December, with just under 1,000 miles of lines now in service. Finally, the biggest story of 2024. Brightline West breaks ground. Brightline, a privately funded American intercity rail operator, got the number 2 spot on this list last year with the opening of its all-new Orlando line. But this year they ranked even higher on the list with Brightline West, what will most likely be the country's first true high-speed rail. In April, Brightline West officially broke ground on its all-new high-speed line between Rancho Cucamonga, California and Las Vegas, Nevada. This all-new high-speed rail will eventually connect the greater Los Angeles area to Las Vegas in around 2 hours at speeds of up to 200 miles per hour. This year, Brightline West not only began the early stages of construction on the line, but also placed an order for American Pioneer 220 trains built by Siemens Mobility, featuring luxurious interiors complete with a party car. Brightline West is moving right along and hopefully should be on track to open its line in time for the 2028 LA Olympics. Overall, 2024 was a strong year for the American rail industry, particularly in the passenger sector. Billions of dollars were invested in vital infrastructure projects, and as I just mentioned, an all-new high-speed rail line is now under construction out west. 2025 is a different year, and for us Americans, a different president, who will without a doubt have a negative effect on the funding of passenger rail projects, and likely will hurt freight railroads too when it comes to tariffs on any non-domestic freight, such as intermodal traffic, not even to mention anything from Canada or Mexico. That being said, here are a few things to look forward to in 2025. First off, the next-gen Acela will be making its in-service debut this spring, replacing 25-year-old train sets. Additionally, I expect California High-Speed Rail, if it isn't derailed by the Trump administration, should be placing an initial order for high-speed trains this year. And finally, the first Amtrak Aero trains may be delivered. Additionally, I'm hoping to see more progress made on Texas Central, especially when it comes to its new Amtrak management, and more news regarding MBTA electrification. No matter what happens in 2025, I'll be here to talk about it, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.